What up? What up? What up? Hey, Get Right Fantasy Network. Sleeves are rolled up. I know you guys see it. It's just me. There's no accident. These guys left me. I'm all abandoned. But felt like there was too much stuff to cover, so I didn't want to push everybody out. We're pulling into draft week. Um, we're here, so I'm gonna break it down at least from my point of view. Finally, I'm not gonna have Frank, Anthony interrupting me. Mike, hey, it's my show. Um, There's a lot of stuff to cover. I will apologize. Probably be the worst produced video that Get Right has ever done. But you can check us out. We are real. We do have a website. I feel like that makes us pretty real. GetRightFF.com. So if you're looking for rankings, all of our rankings are being updated so that you're ready for your draft. Hopefully, you guys haven't drafted already. We're gonna the D-Boss show. What's up, brother? Um, so I'm gonna try to cover a lot of stuff. Man, I should have asked you to get on the show with me. Um, so I'm just gonna break it down. Obviously, it's just my point of view, which is awesome because I don't have anybody arguing with me the whole time. If you guys want to check out our rankings, we got new articles on the website, all kinds of good stuff. If you guys aren't on our sleeper channel community thing, like honestly, it's one of the coolest things that I've been a part of. Every single day, we got cool stuff. We got McGoats. I'll do one. McGoats gives an interesting fact of the day. Recent one. 1983, the Seahawks had 13 passing yards in a game against the LA Raiders. They still scored 38 points and won. Coast to coast. I am coast. Oh, I guess I gotta put that on. I forget. I don't even know how to do the intro, man. So I'm out here just, hey, struggling. But it's so many cool stuff, man. I've been drafting. I'm a scatterbrain, which you guys are gonna see, but I'm gonna try to break stuff down in order. Um, so quarterback, there's a lot of news. I would hate to start the show like with my top three least favorite players in the NFL. Um, but I'm going to do it. Carson Wentz, obviously in the COVID protocol. COVID protocol has been crazy. Like it's hard to put your finger on because it's based on if they're vaccinated, if they're not. So it looks like he's only going to be out 5 days, no long term injury. Um, Looks like Jacob Eason's probably going to get the start there because they had another injury over there. But I mean, if you're relying on Wentz, like you're already in bad shape. I know some people love him. Just last year, right? His stats 2,620 yards, 16 for 15. So 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Like, I hope that's not who you're putting your faith in. There's so many more guys that you can steal late. You can get Staffords, you can get Tannehill, stuff like that. Um, but we had to talk about it, right? So he's not going to get the first team reps. He's not going to get to practice, gearing up for the big game. We're very close, right? So football's going to start, I believe, on the 9th, and it's going to be Cowboys and Bucks, which you got to love it, right? As a Cowboy fan, the Bucks is a perfect team that's going to exploit our defense if that's going to be the case again. And I'll talk a little more about our defense later. I'll talk about another player that I was high on, and I'm dropping him, but I'll get there. Um, I guess other big news, right? So Deshaun Watson, he's going to be held on the 53-man roster. They're saying they're going to hold him inactive. Obviously, there's trade talks. I believe the Dolphins are now the front runner. It was the Eagles, stuff like that. Doesn't look like he's going to get starting time, so it's tough to say to pick him. But I also am just saying that from a redraft standpoint. So I say that because I joined a keeper league and I started thinking about it like, hey, maybe not Deshaun Watson, right? But when you're looking at J.K. Dobbins, what just happened to him, Cam Akers, stuff like that, like some of these guys are worth pulling in your late rounds so that you can keep them for the next year. So just thoughts that crossed my mind after the draft had happened. Um, but yeah, I'm sticking to quarterbacks. So the Patriots, in true Bill Belichick fashion, have not named their starting quarterback. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be Cam, but Mac Jones has looked awesome. Actually, a lot of these rookies have. So I can't talk about rookies if we're not talking about Zach Wilson looks good. Trevor Lawrence looks good. Trevor Lawrence, he played the Cowboys defense, but he threw for 2 touchdowns. He looks awesome. He's throwing the ball deep. He's doing a lot of stuff. So you got to love to see that. Dak Prescott, he's good to go. So they're saying that injury is not going to be a problem. uh, And Dak, I mean, Mr. 6,000 right there, right? So he's projected on my account. He's projected to throw for could be 6,000, right? But the whole season is going to rely on him. I know this isn't a Cowboy show, but if he goes down, it's looking bad for the boys in blue. Um, Jameis. Jameis Winston gets named the starter over there in New Orleans, so that's going to change stuff for a lot of people, right? Callaway, obviously Taysom, Kamara. I know people are really high on Kamara right now. I'm I'm not too high on him. Oh, we already got questions coming in. Hold on, it's not showing on my screen yet, but once I see it, there it is. I'm lagged over here. Hey, we're gonna jump right into a question, and then I'll have to get back to this. Half point PPR, 12 teams. Should I try trading away T.Y. Hilton, other wide receivers, or Calvin Ridley, Robbie Anderson, Brandon Cook, Jarvis Landry, and Devontae Smith? 100%, man. Not only just the injury to Ty, but if you can get anything for Ty, I would do it, especially with that stack of receivers. I'm obviously Calvin Ridley goes without saying. Robbie Anderson, I'm very high on. Brandon Cook, I'm very high on. I love Jarvis. I don't know if he's going to get the target share. Yeah, just like the next comment. Get rid of that man. I don't care if you can get anybody for T.Y. Hilton. Uh, hey, do it. I mean, if you're looking for running backs, I would even take handcuffs. If I could get a Chuba Hubbard for T.Y. Hilton, I'm throwing that man away. So he's injured. Obviously, I don't have all the details. Mike, what up? Welcome to the show. Mike will probably give you more details on the injury. That's who I go to. Him and Ross are always on that. But he's looking at missing some time. And there's so many weapons there and young weapons in Indy that it kind of scares me, right? With the Pittman and Parrish and Mike Strachan, however you say his name. This dude's going to be a beast too. I don't know if he's quite ready to be picked up in like a 12 team format, stuff like that. But somebody that we could look for in the future, like that's going to be a name that we know. He's huge. He's making plays. He had a great preseason. Um, but yeah, get what you can for Ty for sure. He's definitely getting drafted because he's getting the projected points and all that kind of stuff. But last year, I couldn't give him away for a ham sandwich. Um, yeah, so just to kind of wrap up my quarterback piece, Justin Fields. So Justin Fields is another one, right? Like we've been talking about these other rookie quarterbacks who we all know is going to get the job. Trey Lance, we know at some point. I still think it's Garoppolo's job. Before I go too much further, so his injury is the neck. Think of Peyton Manning. He's out most of the season, is my guess. Hilton is a bum anyway. Pittman is the guy in that offense. Can't argue with that. Thanks, Mike. Always there when I need him. But Justin Fields, one thing I did notice that was funny. So I just did a draft. I ended up taking Justin Fields. I was shooting for Zach Wilson. Walked away with Justin Fields, which I'm not mad at. But I noticed that they had him projected to take over the starting role in week 5. So we know they came out, they said it's Andy Dalton's job, whatever. We know that Andy Dalton's not going to be the long term. So a lot of factors are going to be involved, but Justin Fields is somebody that's going to be potentially starting this year. Again, if you could get a Trevor Lawrence, if you could get Zach Wilson in a redraft, that's the place you want to go. If we're talking long term, like Mac Jones, he's in the right system, right? You put a quarterback under Belichick, dude's an evil genius. So jumping on to running backs, and I don't have a lot, and I know so much has happened with running backs, but I'll cover it. I know a lot of you guys already know this kind of stuff. Obviously, we'll start with Cam Akers. Cam Akers went down. So for anybody that drafted before this, like this is why a lot of the veterans were drafting days before the season starts because we're trying to minimize all the injuries, and there's been so many injuries, heartbreaking ones, ETN, a lot of stuff, right? So we got Cam Akers went down. He's out for the season. Henderson, Darrell Henderson, he hurt his hand. He's going to be back. They had another one, I believe. Xavier had a minor injury, but then they traded for Sonny Michel. I really like Funk, but it's going to be tough to keep that many running backs, right? I don't see them keeping 4 running backs. So maybe he goes to another team. But again, I'm more looking at him like in a dynasty perspective. The big one that just happened, big injury in the running backs, obviously J.K. Dobbins, which pushes Gus Edwards up. I've been getting a lot of trade offers for Gus Edwards. But until they update their draft position, like their average draft position or their ECR based on those injuries, it's kind of a steal to get Gus. You can get him really late. So if you're going the 0 RB strategy, which I've done, and I'm super running back heavy. I love going running back heavy, but I caught myself. I did a draft yesterday, and I found myself with Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, like guys I just couldn't pass up at the position I was at. So they're out there. Sonny Michel, I love Sonny Michel. I think it should have been his job in New England. But if we're going to talk about New England, I love I'm going to butcher his name. I'm just going to call him Stevens. Ramondre. Yeah, I love him. So he's going to be a vulture. He's going to be getting touchdowns over there. He looked amazing in preseason. So that's somebody that I've been targeting. Ramondre, however, I apologize if you come on the show. I'll apologize live on the show. But yeah, so a lot of things there. So Gus Edwards right now, he's at a 21st ADP. ADP is average draft position for those that don't know. But I mean, he's a steal. He has potential to break 1,000 yards, which is what we're looking for. I guess people I'm kind of down on, like there's a lot of people who I haven't seen too much of. Like Zach Moss, for whatever reason, I'm down on. I feel like he just hasn't done enough to steal that starting position. So they're going to be a split carry over there. Eckler has been crazy. Like his ADP has completely gone up. I don't know if it's because he's offering a jersey if you draft him on his team and tag him on Twitter or whatever it is. But Eckler's kind of been untouchable for me, so I'm not ready to jump that high. So there's other people I know, a lot of people, and myself, right? I'll break into Gibson. Gibson was one of those players I didn't want to walk away from a draft without him. They're going to switch things up. But then when I go back and I look at his numbers, like obviously there's high hopes. He did amazing. He's coming into, I believe, his second year. He only had 2 games last year where he broke 100 yards, and both of them were against Dallas defense. He might be worth it. Both of them are against Dallas defense, right? I can't even run 100 yards with no defense. But you know that saying, like I could run for 100 yards against Dallas's defense. Last year, he only got 5 targets twice. Last year, he only got 20 carries twice. So like once I started breaking down why I was so high on Gibson, it kind of turned me off on getting Gibson because there's so many receivers that are there. That comment's definitely not going to be going on the show, Mike. Thank you. Hey, but there's a lot of young running backs too. I've seen Tony Jones, the running back from New Orleans. He's moving up there. There's talks of Latavius Murray may not even make the team, which is crazy because we were calling him probably the #1 handcuff up there with Pollard at just a few weeks ago. Not even that long ago. But you got Trey Sermon, so he's in a good position with Mostert getting hurt. Mostert's a steal. You can get him in the late rounds. Ty Johnson, people are picking up. Javonte is another good one, right? So I still have faith in Melvin Gordon. Javonte is going to be one of those people that might make me eat my words, but still, it's Melvin Gordon's job. I don't think he's washed. I think we kind of put him in that Todd Gurley hype. So Todd Gurley's another one. You've been seeing people pick him up, but if these teams like the Ravens were going to pick him up, they would have done it already. If he's such a hot commodity, they would have done it already. So when we're talking about names, like he's 27. What did Wilson just told me? Gus Edwards is 200 days older than Todd Gurley. And I know Todd Gurley's 27. So his knees are just shot. And actually, me and Mike, I believe, had the conversation where I changed my mind on Todd Gurley. I could see that. So Gordon, weeks 1 through 7, Williams after. Javonte's a beast, man. It's kind of like that same situation. I would say I'm not comparing Melvin Gordon to Aaron Jones, but I'm just saying like the same kind of stuff that we're seeing over there in Green Bay, where they have running backs that are looking beastly. And Melvin Gordon for sure is going to share roles. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. Javonte's kind of earned it, but I think he's going to start as possibly the third down back, maybe goal line, and then he's going to work his way in to get that job. Or they could switch it, you know? And that just goes back to like positional scarcity. When we're talking about running backs, there's really only 5 or 6 running backs in the NFL. Obviously, I could change that number. I'll give you a closer number. McCaffrey, Cook, Henry, Kamara, Zeke, not Nick Chubb. I can't even say Aaron Jones. Jonathan Taylor might or might not. Saquon Barkley, but these are the guys that aren't sharing the backfield with anybody else. Antonio Gibson, there's no other name there. So it's very few people. Like, we don't know who's after Joe Mixon, but we know there's question marks there with Joe Mixon, obviously with his injuries. A lot of these guys, right? So if you're going to handcuff them, like, again, Chuba Hubbard is a good person that you're going to want to handcuff them with. Alvin Kamara, we don't know. Like, I don't think you want to draft Tony Jones. Trey Sermon is a good one, even not as a handcuff. I think he's going to have the same situation. Give him a couple games. I mean, dude, maybe even best ball. I don't know. Like Trey Sermon, he looks like a good fit over there. But a lot of good rookies that I'm interested in seeing. We see how it's been even last year when you're just seeing these rookie running backs just come through and, you know, just taking the league by storm or whatever they say. Yeah, so other stuff, moving on, right, to wide receivers. There's a lot. So you could see there's been a big jump for CD. CD's going before Amari. Amari's numbers with Dak were amazing. I feel like they were going to be record-breaking with him. So both of those are a good pick to have. My guy that I can't see myself walking away without, Scary Terry. I really think McLaurin's going to do good things over there. I've been saying this for a while. Fitz Magic. I don't want to say he made receivers, but he's that guy that's going to find one receiver and he's going to be tossing the ball to him 10, 15 times a game like he did with Devontae Parker. And he's done it so much in the past that it just made me like Terry McLaurin that much more because he's the number one. And we all – I dropped the first F-bomb. We all know Fitz Magic don't give a fuck. Like, he's not playing for a long time. He's not worried about throwing the ball 50 yards. Hey, whatever he's got to do, right? He's going to throw it out there. He's going to YOLO it, whatever. But, yeah, that's kind of my guy. Everybody kind of looks at this team a little different. I talked about Tannehill a little bit. Julio and A.J. Brown, right? They're both going to be opened up. I wonder whose team he's on in our listener league. Oh, yeah, shout out to the listener league. We drafted. I can't work on any trades, so nobody's messing with me right now. But we'll work it out. But Tannehill, right? So I guess I should put Mike's comment on there. Julio and A.J. Brown, right? They're both beastly receivers. Both of them are awesome. Julio wasn't getting the touchdowns. And it's not like they even had running backs over there that were getting the rushing touchdowns. He wasn't getting vultured. But I think with Derrick Henry, right, we see what happens with the new offensive coordinator. We're going to see what happens over there. But having Derrick Henry, he's going to be rushing the ball. Obviously, he's a force to be reckoned with. So I just want to see how these defenses are going to play it because good luck if you're going to be man covering Julio and A.J. Brown. So who knows? I think there's potential for all 4 of these guys to eat. Julio, A.J. Brown, Tannehill, Henry. I think all of them are up there. I personally have Derrick Henry close to my second. I'll put him at second, but we can argue all day about Dalvin Cook could be there too. So people say he's gonna fall off, right? He's gonna regress and all that. Like, my man ran for over 2,000 yards. So even if he regresses back to 1,500, like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the numbers that he put up. He's had a steady increase of, I think his minimum increase year to year is 250 yards. Normally he's up there like 400 yards a game. So, hey, dude's a monster. I'm taking him. I'm not too concerned about injuries. This guy's huge. Who's trying to tackle that 30 times a game, right? And they're giving him, hey, he's got potential to get 5 touchdowns in a game, stuff like that. Especially when you're spreading the field wide with Julio and AJ, like, forget about it. Rookies, all right, there's a lot of rookies. You got Elijah Moore, Rondell. I really like Rondell Moore. I feel like even though he's a 4th receiver, the way that they were working him in preseason, which I know is not – it's not indicating what they're going to do during the season, but they're drawing up plays specifically for him. They're working him more than just as a wide receiver. So I really like that. But we all know there's a lot of upside there, I guess. I like Rondell Moore. That's somebody that I'm really high after. I guess late people, I think I already said it, but Robbie Anderson is somebody that I'm huge on this year because I draft running back heavy. So I'm looking for these back end wide receivers. Brandon Cooks is somebody that I'm looking at, like just their numbers. They're consistent. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm trying to get these mid to late receivers and see who's gonna take that next step, who's gonna be that guy, right? Okay, I'll say one person that I'm down on. Breaking down Mike Evans' numbers, not only Terrace Marshall's another good one. Sorry, Terrace Marshall Jr. is another one that I've seen trending a lot. I was going to say somebody I really fell off on. So myself personally, I avoid certain teams and their receivers. It's kind of like the Drew Brees when he's hitting 11 different receivers in a game. It was tough for me to put all my eggs in one basket with any kind of New Orleans receivers. I do like Marquez Callaway. Stash Mike Thomas late if you can get him. That's somebody else who's falling really low. And if he does come back in 6 games or whatever they say, Mike, you can correct me if you know different. But why I don't like Mike Evans at where he's going. Last year alone, he had 10 games under 60 yards. He had 7 games where he had 3 receptions or less. And I did have to refer to my notes just to get that. I could break it all down. He only had, in his first 11 games, he only had 7 touchdowns. In his last 5, he did have 6. So he's very touchdown dependent. So I don't really like that. And plus, there's too many weapons over there. I know a lot of people are saying like Gio is going to be their James White over there and whatever. I think Rojo's a good pick. I think Fournette, I think they're going to do the same stuff. They're going to flip back and forth. So that I'm interested in seeing. Yeah, I mean, other than that, the only other thing I could say, like, okay, if we're going to talk about tight ends, I'm not going to go too deep on tight ends because you see what's happening. So what is a habit right here? So Kelce, his expert consensus rating is number 15. His average draft position is number 12. But in my drafts, I'm seeing this guy go top 6, 7, 8. He's going through the 6 through 10 range. If you're not getting him, obviously you're going to go Waller. So wherever Kelce goes, Waller is soon to follow. Then we're going Kittle. So it's like everybody's watching the same stuff to be picking these guys. Like Kittle's a monster. If he's coming back healthy, that's tough to sell me on That's tough to sell me on that. I don't even know what happened right here, guys. Press. I think somebody else pressed the button. Hard to tell with Thomas. Trade rumors and the injury is hard to predict. Yeah, hey, that's a good point. And the one thing that I'm saying about Mike Thomas is in these leagues, like if you're doing technical difficulties. So if you're doing a league and you have keepers and stuff like that, like if I'm pulling Mike Thomas in the 6th through 8th, 10th round, I'm in a keeper league where actually it's Frank's league. So in Frank's league, if you draft him in the 8th and you want to keep him, it's going to cost you a 7th round the next year. So like, I'm not mad at taking Mike Thomas and kind of just sitting on him. I have to keep him on my roster, but if I put him in injured reserve, whether he comes back or not. So I kind of already went over those people, but like JK, Cam Akers, like if you could grab these people that late, Deshaun Watson, if you feel like he's coming back, that's your own personal preference. I know people fight about that all day. But yeah, other than that, guys, hey, I didn't want to go through. I didn't want to leave everybody hanging. I know our guys got some stuff going on, so they didn't make it. So I still appreciate them. Mike, I definitely appreciate you. Frank and Anthony, no, they're still doing work. We're still gonna have our Wednesday show. Mike is working on an article now. I know we had Andrew just drop an article. I want to start plugging in the McGoats. I'm gonna have to read this. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to touch on tight ends a little more. But McGoats interesting facts. I want to try to work that into the show. Appreciate you, McGoats, Wilson, and NYG guy, them boys in NY. Like, I know it's me or an I, whatever his name is. But just appreciate everybody. Calbeck too, even though you hate me right now. All right, let me go to Mike's comments. My bad, guys. Look, there he is. There he is. All right, Evan Ingram, Big Irv. Oh, he called him Big Irv. I like it. Yeah, Irv Smith got hurt. I believe he's out like a month. Troutman, I don't think is all bad. Noah Fant, I think that one's going to be very short. But these are late round tight ends that I really liked. There's a couple more. Anthony was always pushing Cole Kmet for a while. Mike, we know you love Troutman. I'm big on Higbee. I just think Matt Stafford is – he's just going to push him, right? So Irv Smith's another guy that you can get really late. He's going to sit for a month, but we know how it is with tight ends. So maybe you do want to stash two of them because it's kind of I guess I'll put that one. But yeah, if you want to pick them up, we know how it is with tight ends because it's so hit or miss. So if you're not getting the top three, and it just depends on your value where you want to get him. I want to say I read earlier that Travis Kelce has led the league for the last 5 years in tight end scoring. There's no surprise there. Waller's got huge upside. I don't know who could guard him. Kind of like they said on Top 100, you can't put a linebacker on him. You can't put a corner on him. So he's definitely got the potential. Kittle's already proven himself. He just needs to stay healthy. And then they're going to have a change over there at quarterback at some point. I think it's going to be next year. So I'm big on that, right? So that was me. I had to take off the StreamYard overlay. I knew somebody was messing with me. There you go, Mike Higbee. That's my boy right there. So I'm rolling with Higbee late. But again, I wouldn't be mad. I was actually going to pull the trigger on Kelce yesterday at 7, which I know is high. I just wasn't feeling the Jonathan Taylor. I'm just not buying into that, especially when the quarterback carousel they got going on over there with dumbass Carson Wentz. But yeah, hey, it's going to be an interesting season. Again, I wanted to make this one brief, quick breakdown, all the stuff that's been going on. We're going to have a lot more in-depth detail on Wednesday, and we'll get to hear more of Mike, Anthony, Frank. Stay tuned for the articles. If you guys haven't been on the website, Get Right FF. If you guys have any draft questions, again, if you're not in our sleeper channel, make sure that you reach out to us. So you can get us on Twitter, Get Right Fantasy Network. You can go to the website. You can write us on the YouTube. Mike, I'm going to get your last comment in before I sign off. They were using the 2 QB switch in San Fran. They might continue with that. I think we're like college, right? We see this a lot more in college. I think we're going to see a lot more of the 2 QB system. Obviously, like we got Jameis, Taysom, they're going to be doing that. I think we'll possibly see it with Cam and Mac over there. So get ready, guys. Oh, Mike's in on Wednesday, guys. It's a show. All right. Hey, I'm going to roll my sleeves down. Thanks for holding it down. My rankings will be updated again tomorrow. Hey, same here. So I'm going to get my rankings in. That's all I got. Hey, I was watching the NFL highlights right now. Mike's going to have his updated. So we're going to get you guys ready for your draft. Again, if you guys have questions on Wednesday, we can go through and we can answer all these questions that we're getting. Submit them to us. Hey, appreciate all you guys for being here, for watching, liking, subscribing, all that kind of good stuff that I'm supposed to say. If you haven't yet, I guess I should have said, we're doing a lot of best ball tournaments, and this is really the end. On Underdog, I was planning on and wanting to do a live recording again of Underdog. So we're doing our best ball tournaments there. If you haven't signed up, you get a free $25 if you sign up and you use the code GETRIGHT. That's it. GETRIGHT. Get right. And let us know if you do it, because we have something special for the first people that we get that are joining the league. We want to start doing some private invites. We have a lot of stuff in store. So we have a lot more giveaways. Even though Friday Night Mocks has ended, we have a lot of stuff in store aside from listener leagues, all that kind of stuff. But I've been on here a lot longer than I thought. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.